unshakable is a state of mind. Take your state of mind with you everywhere you go. Be unshakable, be in truth with yourself, love yourself. Welcome to another episode of Chronicles of Unshakable Truths. And today I brought myself to Twirling Spoon, my favorite crockery. I'm doing something really interesting today. I have my mom and Aunty Obi, who you will see in a minute, so I'll just explain a little bit. So mom turns 70 this year, and she has a series of events for her birthday. So I thought I'd bring her to Twirling Spoon to have coffee and dessert with her favorite Aunty Obi, and we were just having a little chat. So her birthday cake is somewhere inside. We'll light up on the handle and we'll do the whole birthday celebration. But in the meantime, I couldn't resist roping Mama and Aunty Obi into a little chat about the love that lasts. So bear with me, I'll do introductions in a minute. We got Ed with the dessert. What we got today? We have cookie dough, chocolate cookie dough. Yeah. Okay. And what is that? Just no. You're having chocolate cookie dough. Yes. Auntie's having chocolate cookie dough, and you're having chocolate waffles. Yes. Yeah. All right. So we'll tell you how that goes.
They're here!
Yay! Yay! Oh, Aunty Obi. Hello! Oh, happy birthday!
Thank you!
And look, there's a sample candle, unshakable candle.
Nice.
Do you like it?
Very nice. It smells really nice.
Yes, she likes it all. Okay, yay! Do a lot of chopping. So guys, we have Mama over there and we have Aunty Obi.
Hi guys.
Hello.
Hello everybody.
So today we're going to be reflecting on love, the kind that endures, that transforms and stays. So we'll be sharing a few readings from The Love That Lasts, How Self-Love Makes Love Unshakable. And maybe Mama and Aunty Obi might indulge me in a couple of questions. So, point number 1. What if love, real love, is not something we search for, but something we build? And the reflection question is, how have my experiences built the kind of love I carry into this season of life? That's the self-reflection question. So my first question is for Mama. What does turning 70 feel like? And has your definition of love changed since you turned 70?
Turning 70 hasn't changed anything. I still feel like the same Ify or Thelma. Nothing has really changed. I still feel the same way. And with regard to the love, I think when you get older, you're more mature and you tend to take a step back before you do a few things. So you look at life from a different perspective, and all your experiences count. Everything goes into to help you decide on what actions to take. So I think turning 70 with regard to love, it's I think you're just more cautious, that's all. I don't think there's anything else, much to it.
Okay. So do you think this feeling has evolved over time Do you think the way you love now is the same as the way you loved maybe when you were 30 or 40? So has the basic principle remained the same, but maybe you have aspects of you have changed, you know, by virtue of life?
I think, yeah, with experiences, when you go through life, you go through some experiences. So, and that kind of affects the way you make decisions. Yeah. So I think with me now, I'm more mature. Even though I can say, as a young girl, I was cautious, but I think um, I'm more cautious that I think I need to think before I make any moves, whether to whatever type of love we're dealing with. Yeah, because love is made up of, you have different types of love. You have filial love, you have all sorts of love, the romantic one, and so on. So it depends on who you're dealing with, really. But yeah, all I know is I think I'm more with a more mature approach now. I think twice before I do things. Yeah.
Okay. Auntie Obi, you're nodding. I think you have something to add.
Yes, I'm agreeing with a lot of things that Ubu has said. As you get older, love is still there. For instance, if you've got a family, any action you take could affect them. You always have to think twice. And as you get even older, as I am now, the love between you and your children changes. They have now become the carer.
Yes.
I'm just the baby. I sit there and look, and they look for things to do for me to show that they love. You have the love that you have for your friends. If your parents are no longer there, it doesn't matter. You have those wonderful memories to cherish and love. So I think that love is developmental.
I love that.
Yes, because it develops with time. When you're very young, you think, "Oh, it's just being in love with my husband or my boyfriend or whatever." But it's actually a huge extension of what will happen to you in life and how you experience things. That's my understanding.
Okay.
So can I say something?
Of course.
And give an example. She mentioned something about um, parents, as a parents, you take care of your young ones. And then I have this example of my grandson, Carrie, and he said he was walking to the old house to get some letters. And I said, "Oh, I would like to go with you. Are you walking?" He said, "Yes." He says, "Oh, okay, Nana, let's go there together." And we actually went together, and he noticed I wasn't as fast as before. And he kept on saying, "Nana, are you okay? Are you okay?" And when we got to the park, there was actually a seat, and he said, "Oh, would you like to sit down?" And all that. And when I sat there, I remembered Carrie.
When I used to be.
You went there when you was born.
So this is wrong with that.
So I now, I now could remember walking down, not Kimbolton. What's the name of that school?
Not spot.
Is it
Not spot
Knoxford?
primary school.
Taking him
Yeah.
in school, and looking after him and making sure he was okay. And I thought, oh, life, this has changed now.
Harry is my son, by the way. So,
Yeah.
so but I'm rather Harry doesn't joke with his grandma. He loves his nana very, very much. Harry and his nana are 5 or 6.
And I said, Mom, give one other example. The last time I was around, we went to buy a radio for granddad. And I asked him, his opinion, and he said, "Oh, I think the one with the big knobs, so he can see things and he can feel things easily."
Very caring.
And when we got to the counter, he said to me, Nana, do you remember your password?
Your PIN number.
Oh, my PIN number says, Nana, do you remember your PIN number? And I said, yes, Carrie, don't worry, everything is fine. And the guy at the counter later when we had finished said to him, oh, you must love your Nana.
Oh,
Said, well done for taking good care of her.
Very much so.
that's very sweet. There's one more question actually. It's meant for Auntie Obi, but it can be for both. It says, what wisdom about love would you share with your younger self?
Well, I think I've more or less said that. You have to be patient and you have to be self-reflective. And as I said, as you grow up, you're older, you think about all your actions and how it's going to affect those who you love, who you're closer to and who you have more responsibility for. So that's
So, Auntie, do you think love changes over time in the sense that you become more selfless as you mature, you get older, you have children, you have grandchildren,
yes.
you start to think more about other people than yourself, do you think?
You think about the people more, but you have to think about yourself because you have to, when you're a young mother, for instance, you wake up, baby's crying, you get haggard, that's your first priority. But then as you grow older and children develop, go away from home, this is the time to look after yourself. Doesn't mean you don't still love your grandchildren and your children and all that. But you have to love yourself because you have to look after yourself.
Yes.
Until that time comes when your children realize you can't look after yourself. You need assistance. So that's why I say it's the responsibility and everything is always changing. It's interesting when you sit down and you think about the whole concept.
Yeah, it says, Auntie, somewhere in the book it says, you can't pour from an empty cup. I think that's what you mean,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
Right, Mom? Do you have anything to add?
Yes,
to
I
that?
agree. I agree with that. I think, yes, when the children are grown and, they're working and they have their own families, that's when you really have enough time, to look after yourself. You put in more effort. Wear red lipstick. Go for spas, and
Like you're off to
like
the
that.
spa tomorrow, aren't
Yeah,
you?
exactly. Yeah,
Tomorrow,
that's right.
go swimming, do the things you love doing, like gardening. Like now, I love teaching. I miss, not teaching. So I'm involved in community work where there's a lot of teaching, mentoring, coaching, things like that. Things that make you happy. You tend to,
Things that fill up your cup.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Section 2, I'll read, is from the prologue of The Love That Lasts, and I'll read the quote out. It says, some love is foundational, some is fleeting, some necessary, and some toxic. The self-reflection question, what kinds of love shaped how I saw myself growing up? I do have specific questions for that align to both you, Auntie Obi, and Mama, in terms of growing up. And I'll say, you both grew up with white mothers and black fathers. What role did that dual heritage play in how you received love or saw yourself? And while you're thinking about that, I'll just say one thing. So, in dealing with Mama, for example, from my perspective, there are certain things Mama does that are so English. And I'm just like, oh, this is her white side coming through, certainly. And then there are other things, and I'm like, oh my goodness, she is so Nigerian. This is, so it's half and half. So, from your own perspective, thinking about it, was there anything that was quite distinct to mom as opposed to dad, or the other way around?
Yeah, shall I go first?
Yes,
I mean, I
certainly.
would say in my case, my parents were fantastic. They taught us to respect and love other cultures. So we weren't just with the English side and the Nigerian side. In those days, it was during the colonial times, and there were people from all over the world. And we associated with all of them. And my parents loved being in a multicultural environment and learning about other cultures and respecting them. And that's what they brought us up to do. So I see what you're saying. I mean, I still live between two worlds. Even though I've been living in England now for over 40 years, I still live between two worlds. I'm still enjoying my offering and pando. At the same time, I still love my roast lamb and veggies and potatoes. And I try, I've got grandchildren now, and I try to introduce them. Well, of course, their parents do have an input, but then there's little grandma has a little input. 3 of them can make very good jollof rice.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
But one of them being a boy, my first grandson, he makes very good jollof rice. So it's, I think, because food is part of culture.
It is, yes, of course, a very big part.
Yes.
Especially Nigerian culture, actually. Well, every culture, but Nigerians, we're very, flavor specific, very taste. So jollof rice has to be cooked in a particular way for it to be called jollof rice.
And it has to be part of every celebration.
Yes, of course. What's a party without jollof rice? What about you, Mama? Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, it's the same thing, I think, in similar ways. Yes. My parents also were quite friendly with people from different parts of the world, I would say. Yeah, and we mixed up with them and we respected each other's cultures. Yes, so we have a bit of mom's culture and a bit of dad's. We lived in Nigeria, so quite a lot of dads. Yes,
because you were in that environment.
We were in that environment, and they encouraged us. Even my mom, because she was involved in Iburo Owe. That's the wives, meeting, and she encouraged us to learn the language, to know the traditions, to be respectful, which is very, very important. And so we're able to fit in with the people from Nigeria, and also with my mom's side as well, with our cousins.
That's right.
And and enjoy the same foods, so yes, it was mixed, but good. I think we've had the best of.
Exactly.
Obi, what do you think?
Exactly.
Wasn't it difficult at some point growing up? At any point? So the question I have here says, were there parts of your identity you felt pressured to hide in order to feel loved?
Not at all. But it was obvious in our skin color. You could see we weren't pure black and we weren't pure white. We didn't need to hide anything. And as I said, our parents taught us up to be confident.
Yes.
And love and appreciate both cultures.
Yeah, I think that's very important because people always have asked me this question. So, who do you associate with? Is it your father's people or your mother's people? And I said both.
Yes.
And I don't feel uncomfortable.
My excuse me.
No.
My grandmother, for instance, she came to Nigeria in 1956.
Wow.
And she spent a year, and then she came again in 1966. And it was just that my father sort of could sense that things were brewing. Things weren't happening. Things were happening. And he thought it was safer for her to come back to England. And then my two aunts, Aunty Margaret and Aunty Clarice, both came to on holiday. And incidentally, before I forget, my grandma, when she came, she loved palm wine so much.
What's not to love wine? I love palm wine.
So my father had to go looking for palm wine for her every day.
It's not too bad.
No.
Okay.
I'm dying to eat this waffle.
Okay. We can take a break if you want to.
Yes, let's take a break. Because I keep on looking at it.
That's it.
So we're just taking a break I'm having cookie dough. Aunty Obi is having a yummy waffle, chocolate waffle, and Mama is having chocolate dough as well. So